Hello and welcome to Sassy Scrapbooking. In today's video, I'm going to take you step by step through my process of creating this beautiful and easy silver and blue Christmas card. And at the end, I'm also going to show you a variation of this card that's just as beautiful. So let's get started. In the Cricut Design Space, I've already inserted the images that I'm going to be using to build my card. My first image is a snowflake image, and it's from the cartridge When It's Cold Outside. First thing I'm going to do with this snowflake is ungroup it. I'm going to separate the background image and delete it. And with the snowflake here, I am going to adjust the width, and I'm going to adjust it to 3.5 inches in wide, which makes the height 3.35 inches. The next thing I'm going to do to my snowflake here is I'm going to change the color to blue. The card I'm making is going to be blue and white and silver. I'm going to be alternating the colors. I'm going to go ahead and change this snowflake to blue, and going on to the pink snowflake, I'm also going to ungroup it and pull the top layer off, and I'm going to delete the background layer. Highlighting the pink snowflake, I am going to change the color to white, and I'm going to place this snowflake on top of the blue snowflake image, and I'm going to go ahead and highlight both of them. Using the align feature, I'm going to select the center option, so now they're centered, and I'm going to group them together. My card is going to be an A2 size card, so it's 4.5 in width by, 4.25 in width by 5.5 inches in length. So for the Cricut to cut it, I need to make it 4.5 inches in width by 11 inches in height. I'm going to go ahead and place the image. It's going to be the cardstock on the 1-inch x-axis, and I'm also going to place it on the 1-inch y-axis. And let me just move my snowflake out of the way for a moment. So I have an 11-inch piece of white cardstock to make my card. So when I'm looking on the Cricut Design Space, since I've placed it on the 1-inch Y and X axis, it's going to go down to the 11-inch mark on my screen. I'm going to insert a score line, and I'm going to go ahead and turn the score line. And you could turn it this way, or you can actually rotate it. And I'm actually just going to rotate it to 90 degrees. Okay. Now I want to place the score line halfway down my 11-inch image. And because I started at the 1-inch mark, both the X and the Y, I need to go down 5.5 inches. So on my Y axis, I'm going to change it to 6.5 inches. And I'm going to change my x-axis to 6. So it's at the 6-inch mark. My x-axis is here at the 6-inch mark. My y-axis is at the 6.5-inch mark. And I'm just going to take and drag my score line across my white image. Now let me shrink it down just a little bit to show you. It's halfway. Alright, so put it back up to 100%. And with the score line still selected, I'm going to hold down my control button and also select the white image. And I'm going to go ahead and use the attach feature. So now the score line is attached to the white cardstock image. Let me move that back over. Now I'm going to select this blue image, and I'm going to arrange to move it to the front. And this is actually going to be the face of the card, or on the front of the card. And I have created this square to be 4 inches in width and 5.25 inches in height. And that's going to be the next layer. And the following layer is another rectangle image in white, and it is 3.75 inch width and 5 inches in height. And let's go to the arrange feature and move to front. Let's place it directly in front of the blue layer. At this point I can actually take my snowflake image. Let's arrange it to be in the front, and I can now place it there. And now I'm going to take the last image, label image, and this is set at, let's see, it's 0.99 inches in width, and in height it's 3.15 inches. And oops, I need to go to the arrange icon and then move to front, and that can now be placed directly in front. And I'm going to go ahead and change the color of the background label to match the rest of the card. And let's see, now let's add text, and I want it to say Happy Holidays. And under all fonts, I want to choose has a writing style. And then I'm going to choose Ashland's alphabet for my writing style. Nope, I don't want to choose that one. Let's try baby steps. I like that better. Baby steps. I'm going to move this over. I don't really like the spacing in between the letters, between the H and the O and the O and the L, and the S is kind of far away too. So I always tend to adjust these. So I'm going to make it a little bigger just so it's easier for you to see. And me. It's easier for me to see too. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to isolate each of the letters, and I'm going to use the isolate letter feature in the edit box. So now each letter is individualized. And you're going to think this strange, but I'm going to go ahead to insert shapes, and I'm going to insert a circle. And I'm going to make it a smaller circle. I don't need anything that big. With my circle selected, I'm also going to select the H, and I'm going to use my right arrow on my keyboard and move it over just a little bit, a little closer to the A. And then unselect. See, I still think that these are kind of far away from these. So I'm going to choose the H, I'm going to select the A, and I'm going to select my circle, or selecting the circle I should say. I can now use my mouse and move my letters over. Okay, now I can delete my circle, and I can select all these letters and group them together. The word holiday is grouped, and I can move it closer to my happy. That might be a little too close. Then I'm going to select happy. Oops, let's back up. I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to select happy and group those letters together. And then because of all the moving I did, I'm going to align it to the bottom so that it's a straight line. And I'm going to use the attach feature. And they're all grouped together again. And now I can shrink it down in size so that I can fit it into my label. So now I'm going to select my Happy Holidays and the white portion of the label. Just to make sure I did that, I better look over here. Oh, they're grouped together, so I need to go to the tag and ungroup. And move my lettering to the front. Select the white portion of the tag and attach. And the design is done. That is what I want my card to look like. So let's go to Map Preview Screen, and I've got the blue middle layer, the blue snowflake, and the blue label. I've also got the white portion of the label with the Happy Holidays written on it. Here's my little writing. I've got the A2 card, top layer, and the white star. So let's send this to be cut on the Cricut Explorer. So now that all the pieces have been cut, I'm going to go ahead and assemble the card. My first step is to go ahead and fold my card base and score the crease line. And what I also did off screen is I cut a piece, actually I cut 2 pieces of craft foam, and I'm only going to be using one of those in this card, and I'll show you where I'm going to use them. But let's go ahead and kind of pre-assemble the card so we can see what it's going to look like. And I have this ribbon in my Christmas collection, and because the colors and the snowflakes are there, I thought this would be so perfect to use on the card itself. So this is going to go behind the snowflakes and behind the Happy Holidays greeting label. So the first thing I want to do is go ahead and get my tape runner and run some tape on the back of the cardstock. We're going to be using this to adhere the ribbon to the back. This is the piece that's going to go directly under the snowflake. And now with the ribbon adhered, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take a piece of the foam craft and I'm going to adhere it to the back of the white cardstock. Not too long ago, I watched a video where somebody ran a test and they sent 2 cards through the mail, one with foam squares on the back of a piece of the card, and another card went through with a solid piece of foam craft. And you could tell when the card went through the mail and was received that the card was crushed a little bit or compressed a little, and you could see each delineation of the foam square where using a solid piece of foam craft, yes, the card was compressed, but you didn't see the impression of the edges of the double-sided foam tape showing through on the cardstock itself. Now, using a little bit of liquid glue on the back of the label of the white cardstock, I'm going to go ahead and adhere it to its blue backing. And then using a pop-up dot, I'm going to place it on the back of the silver snowflake and place the silver snowflake directly on top of the blue snowflake. This will give the snowflake a little bit of dimension. And then now I'm pulling out my box of rhinestones. And I'm going to go ahead and see if I can find a blue one, which looks like I did real fast. And using the tackiness from the pop-up that I used in between the silver snowflake and the blue snowflake peeps through the center of the silver snowflake, I'm just going to go ahead and place the rhinestone on there to adhere it. And I'm going to place another pop-up dot on the back of the snowflake to adhere it to the ribbon. But first I'm going to add a couple of pop-up dots to the back of the label. And then I'm going to go ahead and adhere the label to the front of the card before adhering the snowflakes to the front of the card. With that completed, I'm going to go ahead and take my second piece of foam craft and I'm going to go ahead and adhere it to the back of the blue cardstock. Then I'm going to use my tape runner one more time and run some tape on the foam craft of the back of the white cardstock and adhere it to the front of the blue cardstock. Then I'm just going to add some more double-sided tape on the A2 card itself and might add the assembled front part of the card to the A2 card, and my card is complete. I wanted to show you another variation of the same card using the same steps, but in this case using my Spellbinders embossing machine and a snowflake folder. I embossed the white cardstock with the snowflake design and the blue cardstock with the Cricut Cuttlebug polka dot page embossing folder. At this time, I would like to take one more moment of your time and thank you for watching my video at Sassy Scrapbooking. Please subscribe to my channel and watch my other videos. I will continue to add new videos as my adventures with the Cricut Explorer continue. Bye for now.